I don't understand why I'm.
Okay, is that,
No.
You can't have the sound on both computers. You'll have to listen just from one of them.
okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yep. You can be heard.
I've lost it all. I
Hi, Stacy. How are you?
gotta get the thing off.
So now there's, on this screen at least, just so you're aware, I'm on a pretty big screen. Actually, somebody just went off. There were 2 pages. It was opening up to a second page of faces. So that'll happen if we fill up. Rebecca's here. Okay.
Oh, we got 30 people on it now.
I think you gotta try and listen.
Surprised Karen hasn't met me.
Hello, St. Matthews. Good to see all of you.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi.
Rebecca.
Hello.
I will say before we begin that
You gotta,
when we come to voting, it will be possible for people to call in to vote if there are 2 people, but you only have 1 device. So don't worry about that.
okay, is that better? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, you're fine. Yep.
That's good.
Oh, okay.
I didn't turn my video on.
She had to turn her thing off.
Okay. Robin is on telling me she sent the link to Joe and Judy Chilton, but they can't get on. I don't know why. There's only 1 link. Huh.
Now, Patty just sent me a thing. Wait, watch it.
I'll give the advice that God always gives. Keep trying.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
Let's see.
And who's next? See who's next to me? On the bottom, between Karen, Patty C.
Here comes Emmanuel, Lisa Gaylor. I see
oh,
Wendy.
oh,
Because she just sent me.
well, that just, yeah.
She sent me.
So as we get started, folks, it's best if people are muted unless you're going to be speaking, just to keep it so that you'll hear the person who is speaking clearly.
Go on mute. It's not.
Here comes Robin. I think here comes George, I believe. I remember George being LAOWC when we used to be online every week. There's Robin. Okay. Hi, Emmanuel. Hello, Peter Green. You're looking good. Glad to see you.
Thank you, Father.
You're most welcome. Okay, we still have people coming in.
We do on me and mercy.
Okay. This is, when they have big ones for the diocese, I don't know how the communication director does it, because you can't see everybody on one screen at once. So she does a great job. We'll do the best we can. Do you know, it depends on what kind of machine you're on or what kind of device, but you should be able to raise your hand. There's a thing called reactions. If you see that and you click on reactions, there's a thing where you can raise your hand. It looks like this if you look at mine now. So that means, and Ellie has done hers, that means if you want to be, and then you can lower it again. If you want to say something, that's one way to do it. The other way is literally to wave your hand, but I have to go from one screen to the other to see where you are. So
Where was that reaction?
it's, well, on the computer I'm on, it's at the bottom of the screen. If you're on an iPad, sometimes on the side or the top. I'm not sure about phones.
All right, I'm on an iPad.
Okay. Yeah, it's unfortunately, they do it
Oh.
differently on different
It's all
devices.
right.
So, here's Shirley Carter. That's good. All right. Good afternoon, Rob.
Hi.
And George. All right. So I think with your permission, it's about 5 after. Shall we begin? Robin, is that okay? Okay, I'm going to initially share or try to share one part of the, oops, that's not working. This is interesting. Now, everything I had ready to share is gone now. Oh, Lord. All right, let's see. Huh. I had everything open, Ellie, on my browser, but now it only gives me the option of sharing the screen, the actual screen that you guys are on. Let's see. Maybe I can get it down here. Hang on a second. No.
It was working a minute ago. You had it.
It was, yeah. I don't know where. Huh. Well, sorry, go ahead.
You might just have to reopen it. Did it get shrunk down?
Let me see if I can see here. Window notification. I'm on the office computer, which I don't use. It's Audrey's computer, so I'm not quite sure. I don't see anything shrunk down. Well, that means I may have to reestablish what was on there before. That's not going to be. Wait a minute, maybe. I don't know. I might have to do it one by one as we get to it, which you'll have to be patient with. I'm sorry about that because it just is gone. I spent the last hour setting it up.
Yeah,
Have I ever told you I love technology? Huh. All right. Well, we'll begin. And the first thing I'm going to get to, if I can, is the actual
It's unmuted.
booklet for this day. Let's see. Book draft. Let me know if you see the annual report listed here. St. Matthew's Leaflet Treasure Report.
not yet.
Annual report draft. That's odd. I don't know why the draft would come up, but not the. All right, hang on a second.
Try a laptop and see if there's a internet.
Your battery or somebody else's?
It's Tim. It's Tim. Look at the look on his face.
Does he look happy?
I don't know. People should be muted. Okay.
And you muted?
All right. All right. This, Robin, I can't see where you are. Robin, can you unmute?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank
Good
you
afternoon.
for joining in.
Robin, I need to ask you a question. We need, do you have with you an actual copy of the annual report? Because now I can't find, I don't have the agenda.
I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do.
Great. We're fine then. We can begin.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone. I call to order the annual meeting, January 16th, 2022. And I appreciate everyone taking time out this afternoon to join us on our very important meeting. Father, would you like to lead us in opening prayer?
Thank you. I'm going to do the prayer. I'm going to precede it by the reading for this morning from Paul's letter to the Ephesians from morning prayer. I, the prisoner in the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, making every effort to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in all. This prayer is number 12 from page 818 of the Book of Common Prayer for a church convention or meeting. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with those who take counsel today in the Church of St. Matthew's at Worcester for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you, Robin. Back to you.
Yes, thank you. Father, did you want to review the overriding guidelines for the meeting?
Sure. There was one primary guideline, that is anyone is free to speak at any time. I outlined before 2 ways to get attention to be heard. The one overriding guideline is that we maintain a sense of, in speech, respect for one another as we speak. Some of you will remember that last year, in ways that I was reminded of recently by some of our parishioners, we had some sharing during the meeting that was not respectful of other people, and that was allowed simply to continue. I've been reminded recently that part of my role as the rector here on occasions like this is to make sure that our speech is gentle, respectful for all. So I just remind you of that because this year, if determination is made that the way someone is speaking fails in that regard, that person will be temporarily removed from the meeting until such time as we can begin again in respectful manner. So that goes for all of us across the board. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you very much, Father. I'd like to let you know, I don't know if it's been spoken about previously, because I joined a couple minutes after the meeting had been opened, that we need to move forward with an election of a clerk of the meeting. And I would like to nominate Ellie Cohane as clerk of the meeting.
So second, George Gillard.
Thank you, George. Ellie, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay, thank you. I think, Robin, do we need a vote to finalize that? There's a nomination and a second, so I suspect just we should.
Yes.
I move if there's no other person, we should vote on Ellie. If seconded.
Okay. Very good then.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ellie. We're moving on then in the agenda. The next item is the minutes of the 2021 meeting. If you have had an opportunity to review them, is there somebody that would like to move that they be accepted as presented?
I move.
Don't
they-
move.
Oh,
Great, okay. I move, you want to do that? Okay, go ahead, Debbie.
That's okay, Festa. I move that they be accepted as presented.
Second. Festa, second.
Hi, it's Charlotte. Before you vote, I have a comment on the minutes.
Please,
May I speak?
you may.
Okay, under the paragraph that's on stewardship,
Where? To the front page.
Mhm.
the third sentence says,
Yeah.
I think it says, one unit has increased its pledge, but it's printed as unit has increased its pledge. I'd like that sentence removed
Oh,
because
thank
that
you.
doesn't make sense to me. I would never have said one unit has increased its pledge.
Mhm.
So that sentence I'd like to have removed.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Okay, Charlotte, thank you. Duly noted.
Thanks.
We probably need to then have a vote. I know there has been a first, a second. There's also been a suggestion about a revision, so.
I have a question.
Who's speaking?
Okay, who was that?
Stacy. Hi.
Stacy.
Question. Why are there no parochial statistics under 2021? That's just my question.
In last year's minutes?
Well, it says parochial statistics. I mean, unless that's this year's, I don't know, but it just says it ends at 2020. Is that why? It says 2020 has statistics, and then the line for 2021 has nothing.
That probably is because thank you, that can be filled in at that time when those minutes were prepared. The Episcopal Church as a whole had not determined how to count anything that year because we had been in lockdown, so that all the churches were empty. So there was nothing to say. They eventually came out with guidelines that include some use of stats from online,
Hearing things.
but that hasn't been drawn together. But I believe that's the reason why.
Okay, I was really confused when I saw it, so I wanted to make sure. But,
That's
all right,
fine.
cool. Thank you.
Good question. Thank you.
Okay, so we have had, we're looking at the minutes for 2021. We have had one person move and one person second, and we've had Charlotte suggest her revisions. So do we need to move again based on the fact that Charlotte is making sure that those revisions are incorporated?
Yes.
Okay, so then I make a motion that we accept the minutes of 2021 as presented with the revision that Charlotte has recommended. Is there anyone to second?
Second.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh,
Aye.
okay.
Accepting the minutes.
Okay, thank you. So the next relates to the review of the reports that are in the document that you received in the email yesterday. And I mean, normally, you know, you've had an opportunity perhaps yesterday or today to review them. Was there anything in particular that you wanted to discuss or address to any of the authors of the articles, or should we just say that you will read it as you have time? I'm just asking the question. What is the preference? So you've reviewed you've reviewed the annual report, you know, as it is. And so we can, instead of having redundancy of all of the groups and individuals and committees that have put forth their greatest effort in these reports, we can move forward unless there's any specific person or group that would like to say something related to what they wrote.
Hi, it's me again, Charlotte.
maybe you should go in order.
That's
See if,
exactly.
see if individual people want to,
Right.
that is the
Okay.
writers to talk about what they did and then anyone else to comment, perhaps.
Correct.
Certainly, certainly. Quite all right. Okay, so we have the first one. Well, it's the senior warden's report, which will be later. The junior warden's report, which will be later, is also.
Actually, I'd
Um,
like to do that now. Because I have a couple of announcements that are attached to that too.
Sure. Okay, Tim.
All right, as we know, 2021 was a difficult year in many ways. In a lot of ways, it didn't resemble in any way how church life should look like. However, I know for a fact as a vestry, I worked painstakingly hard, as did everybody else, to keep people safe. And it was actually a nice Easter service outside. And as the summer came, we had weddings and church services inside with taped pews, which I know people hated at the beginning, but I think they've gotten used to them. Keeping in mind that church life did not begin until Easter Sunday, we only made a few major purchases to keep the church running. The first was an iron ice sprayer that would spray down and disinfect surfaces. That was $1,000. And there were a couple other things that we haven't had the numbers given to us yet. So I can't report on those until they come, which was a repair to the boiler in the basement of the church. So once we get that, I'm sure that'll be passed along. I'd like to thank the vestry, especially Robin, Father John, Kelly, and Helen, who stood by me for reasons I won't get into here. But anyway, the other thing is we had the 150th celebration, which came off very well. As a matter of fact, that night, I probably shouldn't even have been there. I should have been somewhere else, but I soldiered on and I think it was a success. Okay, my two announcements. One's going to be surprising and the other ones might be shocking to some people. As of 2:45 yesterday afternoon, I resigned as your junior warden. In the immortal words of Lyndon Johnson, as of this year, I will not seek or accept the nomination as junior warden. That's the first one. And to dovetail and pair with that, unfortunately, Kim and I made the tough decision, especially tough to Kim because she's lived in that church. And for me, because I've spent my whole life there, married life, and I had my children baptized there, and I do love the church. However, we have decided to worship elsewhere. This is going to be our last official act as members of St. Matthew's. If anybody wants to know why, they know where to find me. They can call me and ask me. I'll certainly tell them. When I sent this out in the vestry channel yesterday, I got a couple people ask me to please reconsider. Nope, mine's made up. I can't do it right now. I'll never say goodbye, but Godspeed. There are many people in that parish that I love, but it's time.
One particular thing I would like to mention is I still will be helping Karen in Sunday school because there is no one else to help her. I will be there during the Sunday school hours, and then I will be leaving afterward. So it was a very tough decision. Both him and I had quite a night last night. But it's a decision that had to be made because of a lot of things that have happened. So, like I said, I still will be in touch with people. A lot of the good friends that I've made there over the years. It was a tough decision because my parents still go there, but it was something that needed to be done.
Not an easy decision. I will not be voting. As a matter of fact, this is absolutely my last for now. Never say never. But this is going to be my last act as a parishioner. Please know that there's certain people there that I will be in touch with, that I love and respect. But it's time. So we'll be actually clicking off the meeting right now. So good luck, guys. We love you. Bye.
I think if I could just speak for a minute, I think despite this difficult moment for Tim and Kim, that we all will be open always to their coming back to us at any point they would want to.
Yes.
I think a big part of who we're meant to be as the church is a presence of reconciliation in the world, which is, that's not a cheap word. Where it's genuine. It's a beautiful thing, and it's hard work to get there, but it's our work. So I just wanted to say that, let us, bear that in mind and have that openness of heart always going forward. Millie?
I just want to say that Lois and I are terribly disappointed in this decision.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think, I think
We,
perhaps, Robin, at some point in the coming days, we might have a session with people to talk about this further, to hear what people have to say. As Tim rightly mentioned, anybody can contact him to talk about, to ask about the decision, the reasons for it.
yes.
But
very-
I only say that because I think we probably can't enter into too much of a discussion. I think probably what Millie just spoke for a lot of people when she spoke for herself and Lois. Robin?
Yes, we're deeply saddened. St. Matthew's is a family. We love God, we love one another, we love St. Matthew's, and to see a family depart is a very, very sad thing. We look toward the day of some type of reconciliation and rejoining, because they are always welcome with open arms. They always are. We love them. We love them deeply.
Thank you. Thank you.
Robin, you're muted. You're muted, Robin.
Hard to move on from that, but capital campaign at this time, based on COVID, has no report. We're talking now, moving forward in the book, the document on the scholarship report, the Waterford education grants, and although that is part of my presentation later, I guess I can do it now.
What page are you on?
I'm on page 11.
Okay, because I have it up here now. I think.
Okay. Yeah, it said that during 2021, the vestry voted to award scholarships to the following individuals: Emily Baldwin, Debrian Doe, Alyssa Gaylor, and Ryan Rossi. Each student in 2021 was provided a check for $625. And our goal for 2022 will be the same. The vestry will be looking at, we have many children that are in high school, many children that are currently in college, and through whomever assumes the role in the new vestry. It's something that please contact them. It's something important to consider, that we are allowing the opportunity for young students to pursue their educational goals. So if you're a senior in high school, and if you are in college, we would love it if you would contact Father John to let him know. The second scholarship information is the Bement Scholarship. That is one awarded annually as well. The contact person is Kathy. The deadline is March 1st of this year. So if you are a high school student or a college student, or know of anybody within the parish that is, please let her know. She can work with you on completing the paperwork to submit by that deadline of March 1st.
Mhm.
Thank you.
We'll be publishing that information. Kathy?
Yes, I would just like to say, everybody, that as I sit on the Bement Waterfield Committee for Scholarships, I'm happy to work with anybody. All of the information is on the diocesan website. All of the application forms are on our website. And please just get in touch with me. It is a firm deadline of March 1st, and please apply because there is always money for our young people going to college. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Robin, you're muted.
I'm going to pause here because we do have individuals that are here, that are guests, that are waiting for the Meritorious. So is it acceptable? I'm asking this of everyone. Is it acceptable that we move forward with the recognition of the Meritorious Award winners because they are here represented as and also guests of the award winners are here. And I, my point is, I don't think we should let them wait for, 2 or 3 hours.
Sure.
Okay.
I think
All right.
that's great.
Okay. So I'm going to do that right now. We will pause where we are and we will move forward. Thank you. So I'd like to, I saw Joanne Rouse de Pilato, and is Paula on too? Paula
Yes,
is on?
Paula is
Oh,
on. Yep.
okay. All right, great. So we are going to recognize the first Meritorious Service Award winner. And this was at the vestry meeting in early December. Joe Chilton sent in a nomination, and that was for Robert Rouse. Father John, I wish to nominate Robert Rouse for this year's Meritorious Service Award. Bob Rouse, has been a member of St. Matthew's his entire life. Baptized in 1925, Bob became a member of the men and boys choir at the age of 7 and stayed active into the 1950s. Bob was a member of the church basketball team, the couples club, the men's club, and vestry. Bob was a vestryman, the clerk, and senior warden for 30 years, retiring as warden emeritus. Bob was a leader during the construction of the parish hall, seeing St. Matthew's become the city's first Head Start site, involved with Meals on Wheels and the Southworcester Neighborhood Center. Bob was also on the Diocesan Council and worked with Bishop Weiserman. Thank you, Joe Chilton. So congratulations. At that time in early December when the vestry met, Bob was alive. And so during the course of the month, he then passed. And we are so sorry, Paula and Joanne, for your deep loss. He was a wonderful, phenomenal man. And if you would like to say a few words, you certainly are welcome to do that. It would.
Oh, she just unmuted. Hi, I'd like to say just a few words. My dad was very pleased to receive the news that he was selected for this award. He, a few weeks ago, I received a call from Father John, and he told me about the award, and I let my dad know, and he was really surprised. He said, "Do those people still remember me?" And but he was really very honored and humbled by the award. He loved St. Matthew's Church, and whenever he would be in the area, he would always stop by and we would go to the early service. So just want to say thank you for your cards and prayers and all your good thoughts, and we appreciate this award so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. And just to mention, we look forward to joining with you in church in prayer for your dad in May, when that date comes. I'm sure many
Thank
of
you.
us here today will want to be with you in prayer on that occasion.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Joanne, did she want to say anything?
I think so. She's mute though.
Okay. Oh, unmute, Joanne.
Right there, okay. Well, I wanted to say thank you too. And, you know, Paula and I grew up in the church and, you know, he brought us there our whole lives. And, or at least for quite a while. And I moved to New Hampshire, so I'm not in the parish anymore. But it was wonderful. And he was so dedicated. And I was grateful that I was with my dad, when he passed, and he was grateful for all of us to be there, and it was a gift. It really was to be with him, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that your dad did for this parish so generously and for so long.
Yes. Yeah, thank
I
you.
want to say hi to Robin because we were in Sunday school class together.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And thank you so much for everything, and you know, his continued dedication. We loved him. We still love him. We love you guys. And if anybody had a chance, there was a beautiful tribute of his life in the Sunday Telegram on January 29th. January 9th, excuse me, January 9th. If any of you wanted access to that, you can also go to the website. Just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. We're moving then on to our second Meritorious Service Award winner. I saw Doreen online. Doreen, is Jeffrey there or Kay O'Neill?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay. All right. We're glad you're here though, certainly.
Thank you.
All right. So this is what I wrote. The person who is receiving the award posthumously is Arthur Giles. Dear Helen, Father John, and all vestry members, I respectfully nominate Arthur Giles for the Meritorious Service Award for 2022 posthumously. While growing up, I personally knew Arthur and his wife, May. They were loving, caring people of faith. Arthur was a gentle, quiet-spoken man who impacted life at St. Matthew's Church in many ways. Arthur contributed to the leadership role while serving on our vestry. He was proud to assist in church as an usher. He was also a counter for many years. Arthur enjoyed preparing meals at St. Matthew's for the men's club and the couples club. He often assisted May with Sunday school. Years ago, parishioners would work in teams to visit the homes of all members. This would also be a time where teams would visit to collect pledges for the next year. He did this enthusiastically. Those are some of the many ways Arthur impacted St. Matthew's Church. Thank you for taking the time to read this letter of nomination, and thank you for considering Arthur as posthumous nominee for the Meritorious Award in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doreen, would you like to say a few words?
Yes. A lot of people wouldn't remember him. I know Paula does, and the Townsends and Millie and our family, you, Robin, and Joe Chilton. It was a different time. He was a very quiet man. As you said, he would just as soon be scrubbing the pots in the church kitchen than be out front. But and he did it many times. The one thing, St. Matthew's became his family when he married my mother in 1940, and often spoke of any of the gentlemen, including Paula and Joanne's father, who were in the service. St. Matthew's was their core. They were so supportive to the men and families away. My mother had often talked to me about that. And when they came home, they were so duly honored by their church. This church this was their life. This was their social life. This was everything. And I'm happy to be back. I've been away a little bit on and off in life with things, but I'm happy to be back, and it's a blessing. And thank you very much for the honor.
Thank you, Doreen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Robin,
down
can I take a moment? I don't know, is it okay last year, we were less able somehow to note our honorees last year. The Posthumous Award last year was presented to Howard Hall. His name is now on the plaque in our hall. And our living award recipient last year is Charlotte Townsend. And I don't think we really had an opportunity to congratulate her. So Charlotte, thank you so much for receiving that award last year and for continuing to be the great presence you are on the parish since.
Thank you. I was surprised and honored, and I was hoping that this year maybe my sons could be here, that we would have an in-person annual meeting, but it didn't happen. So maybe someday in the future.
Yep. We'll hope for next year, God willing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Okay. So we're kind of in the middle. Yes, we're in the middle, stuck in the middle. We can either go back to the agenda or we can jump back to the review of the annual reports. What do you say?
It's up to you. It's up to you, Mrs. Warden.
Yeah, I think we should go back, just ask. Basically, the annual report is there. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask, but I think we need to get back to the agenda. And next on the agenda is the treasurer's report.
Oh, okay.
Kelly is with us. Yes, thank you.
Hi, everybody. I do have the budget that was approved by vestry. We met on December 19th and we went over the budget and everything was approved. So we did make the changes as they did. I've been working on trying to get all of the year-end statements done. So I do have a copy of it. I will go ahead and send it to Audrey and she can send it out to the entire parish. So I do apologize, it didn't make it into the cover. The first thing I just want to let everyone know is the update right now, which is actually in our annual meeting, is where we stand at this point. The Four Corners Kitchen as of December 31st had $2,830.24. The capital campaign as of December 31st has a balance of $24,691.09. And the general fund as of December 31st has a balance of $19,147.44. So that was everything as of that point. As far as the capital campaign, like Tim alluded, we really haven't used any of that money at all for any expenditures out of that. The Four Corners Kitchen, we were lucky enough to just basically have donations. We had a grant from the Elks. We've had parishioners, and we've been able to use most of our gift cards. So a lot of that money, again, has not come out of that fund going on. And then the general fund, obviously, bills and money that comes out of the general fund is to pay the bills for the general operation of the church. So that's what basically runs that. And that brings us into the budget. So for 2022, we are budgeting the loose plate offerings to be $1,600. It's the same as 2021. The initial offerings we decided $200 and 2021 was $200. Most of these have pretty much stayed the same. Same with our Easter is $700. Christmas is $1,400. Non-pledged envelopes is 3,000. And then miscellaneous fundraiser, we're hoping again to get the fair back and hopefully to be normal. So we're hoping to budget 5,000 for that miscellaneous fundraiser. We will have an update on that once we get all the updated figures, so I can tell you exactly what the fair did for last year. So the total for the plate offerings we're looking at is $11,900. Now for the pledge payments, on this one here, if you look at this year, which we were blown away, everybody's generosity. So far, the current year is 85,000. Last year was 79,400. So as you can see, as of this time when we made the budget, that's what we were at. And there's a big difference. So people have really either stepped up and increasing their pledges and, really, really helped us out with doing a lot of this. So that's a lot of work to our stewardship committee. I definitely want to thank Charlotte, Millie, and all them on there because they worked really hard to promote St. Matthew's and everything. So there is an increase in that, which is phenomenal. As far as the Bank of America endowments, we've decided because of the fact that December 31st and then with the mail and everything that it is hard for us to go by December 31st total. We as a vestry discussed that going forward, we were going to use the amounts from September. And then the December one we will report after the first quarter is over. So the Bank of America endowment was the 17,200. The Diocese Memorial Fund stayed right around 27,500, and the principal outlay was around at 60,000. So the investments income for this year was 104,700. Miscellaneous income for room donations, we really didn't have any room donations. We do have some groups that are meeting, and in the beginning of the year, we decided we were going to reduce the price because they really weren't meeting in person. And then we just decided that they really didn't meet at all. So for room donations, we really haven't had any of those that we really budgeted. We will be discussing going forward when the rooms are back in, when the groups are back in session, we will go over and discuss any of those are upcoming. The budget that we had for 2020 was 3,400, which is probably about right, depending on the groups that we meet. But we are revamping all that and looking as the groups come in and what we're going to be able to do once we're able to meet in person. As far as the next one, which is the local wider church share, which is usually something that we cannot change. It's 19,200. Outreach, we increased outreach a little bit because that's what St. Matthew's does is we want to focus on our outreach and be able to reach within the community more, whether that's, the Southwest Neighborhood Center or whatever. We did have a budget of 2021 for 300. So we decided we wanted to up that for up to 500 to be able to kind of help that outreach and build on that more. The Rectus discretionary fund, Father John basically stated that he wanted to keep that the same. It's basically $100 a month. So it's $1,200 for that. And theological education, we wanted to keep that in there as well. And that's for any education that Father John feels that he needs or anything like that. So the total for that missions part is $21,200. As far as, the rector, a lot of this comes from the diocese. So the rector part of it is the same as last year. Nothing's really changed. We did, however, go ahead and for the $12,700 for last year under secretary, we did find out that that was combined along with the bookkeeper. So this year for 2022, we have to meet with Audrey and go over that. We haven't gone over and been able to give her, the raise or whatever. So that $12,700 for last year was actually the bookkeeper and the secretary. So what we did is we kind of separated that and we put the bookkeeper on what her salary is for the $6,240. The organist and director again is the same, $13,000. We have $900 for the supply organist. Even though last year we really didn't need to use any of that, we had generous donations for people to cover when
Funerals,
when funerals, weddings and stuff like that, but we wanted to keep it in there because if Dawn decides to go on vacation or something, we want to be able to have the money budgeted for that. Social Security for the rector, Social Security for the lay people. We don't have a say in any of that. That's just money that the diocese takes for that. Same thing for the pension. It did go up a little bit because last year it was 11,500. Now it's at 14,000. And again, that's because of the fact of the rising costs and different things. And this is all set by the diocese. So these were stuff medical. Again, the price of medical insurance has gone up. So we went from 12,700 to 13,500. And then the clergy equity, I haven't 100% understood that. I do apologize, but that's $2,500 again coming. That's mainly from the diocese. As far as bank fees, property, housekeeping, we kept the same 5,000. We do have cleaners that come in and they're doing a fantastic job. They come, they clean the bathrooms, and they, work on that. So they really gave us a good deal. So we kept the cost of that the same. Snow removal, we did go up only because of the fact with cost of living and the fact that he hasn't gone up in his pricing in a very long time. So the vestry decided that we were going to go ahead and keep, and move that up a little bit and keep the same person that we've had. I guess his family is parishioners of the church. So he does a fantastic job. Gas, church gas, like everything else has gone up. So we went from 10,300 to 11,000. Same thing with electricity. I just also want to do a side note is your vestry works extremely hard to make sure that we're keeping these costs as low as we possibly can. We've worked on getting the lowest prices for the gas, and we're constantly talking about this so that we can make sure that we're keeping these prices low. Same thing with electricity. When we find that a lot of times our electric bills are high, we go in and we look at to maybe see the reason why, adjusting the thermostat, doing different things to try to keep it as low as we possibly can. But unfortunately, the rising cost of things, we did have to increase that. So that went to 6,350. The water and sewers, that hasn't really gone up yet. We haven't had an increase in that. Rectory oil, we kept the same only because of the fact that it's like, we're trying to get it on an automatic cycle. So we want to try to keep the rectory oil right around the 2,900. And the same thing with the rectory electricity. We pretty much kept most of that's the same. There hasn't been much of a change in that. Now moving on to the church phone, the basic phone is $2,100. But again, like I said, we're looking at trying to reduce that cost as well. Because as we were going through this, we were looking at, to us, it seemed like it's extremely high. So we're looking at ways to try to cut that as well. Father John and the executive committee spoke about maybe contacting Spectrum, see if there's other ways that, we can use different programs, maybe, cut some of what we have and find out exactly what we need. Same thing with the phone basic. We cut Father John on the rectory. We budgeted $2,000, but when we looked at it and we cut out some things, we moved that one down to $1,300 only because of the fact that, he is a very busy man and stated he does not have time to watch a lot of his cable. So we were able to adjust that. The organ maintenance was, again, the $400. We did put in $100 for piano repairs, but some of that, again, may come from parishioners, but we just wanted to make sure that we budget that because of the piano. Church monthly maintenance, we left the same. The sexton supplies, we cut that in half. That was $400, but basically we don't have a sexton, and basically the supplies that we're using, most of the cleaning company uses to clean the bathrooms and stuff. And with us not being in the church right now, we really haven't had the need to go in. All the cleaning supplies and all the stuff that we do use, we're figuring wouldn't be more than the $200. Church repairs, we did bump that up to $5,000 because there are some repairs that are going to be needed through the church. So we just wanted to make sure that we allotted for a little bit extra. And rectory minor repairs, we went down a little bit on that. We did budget $3,000, but talking with Father John and some of the repairs, they were a little bit minor on that. So we cut that down about $1,000 for that. Rectory trash, we upped that one only because of the pricing, again, of things that are coming up and prices of going up. The blanket insurance pretty much is stayed the same. We really haven't gotten our actual updated insurance one from the diocese as of yet, but it should be for the 14,400. As far as computer expenses go, most of this section has pretty much stayed the same. Some of it went down. $100 for the computer expense, $400 for office supplies. And again, Audrey and them are very good at what they order. They only order basically what they need. Postage stamps, 300, 150. We went up a little bit on the offering envelopes only because that seems like that is what they were charging us for this year. So we went up a little bit. And again, the parishioners with your initial offering and stuff, that should kind of offset that a little bit. Equipment contracts, we kept the same because we pretty much have the same equipment. Subscriptions, we went down on that. A lot of the subscriptions, why we were able to go down was because Audrey does a lot of the printing for us, so we don't need to have the leaflets and stuff that were already pre-printed. Father John does a lot of work on that as well, so we don't need really the full 600 for that. So we were able to cut that down a little bit, and then we added on safe church training, only because of the fact that now a lot more people need to get trained. So we wanted to make sure that we had enough in the budget to be able to at least help some of those people defray the cost of that. So the total went from 4,400 to 4,375. So by adjusting it here and there, we did go down a little bit on that. As far as programs, we decided it was very important to try to keep the programs the same. Like the church school, we budgeted $300. Kim and Karen worked extremely hard on the preschool, on the Sunday school. So we wanted to make sure that we kept the $300 for their curriculum. Clergy continuing ed, that's separate than the theological one. That's more of if, we wanted to have Father John take certain classes, different things like that. So we wanted to keep that the same for the 300. Youth group, we're hoping that we can get that up and going. So we wanted to keep $100 in there, just in case if we decided to do that. Christian education, any supplies that we need or anything to help with any of the services, we wanted to make sure we kept that. And we kept all to give the same as well for the 400. We increased our music only because sometimes we have to have copyrights and different things of the music that we have. So we increased that up to the $200, and that was the recommendation from our organist. So lastly, if you look at convention expenses, $300, most likely we are not sure what the convention is going to be, if it's going to be virtual or not. So we wanted to keep that the same, as well as hospitality. And then the $3,500 is the scholarships that we had mentioned before. So if you look at our expenses, our total expenses is $197,350. And if you go back and you look up at our total income, it's $197,350. So at this point, we do have a balanced budget at this time. And again, I just want to thank the vestry and everybody for their input on this, because like I said, we devoted an entire meeting and really looked at each individual section to make sure that we were really doing what was best for the church. So thank you.
I wanted to thank you, Kelly. It's just such a, oh my goodness, a big job that you and Kirsten, do. It's amazing that we have the two of you, and Audrey too. So thank you very much for your dedication. Oh goodness. Now what we'll do is open it up to any questions that the parishioners may have regarding the financial information that was presented by Kelly.
Can I ask a question for the minutes, Kelly? Did you say because the financial statements for December 31st doesn't give you enough time for this annual meeting, you're going to use September's financial statements to prepare the report next time, and then you'll send an updated afterwards? I just want to make sure I got it right.
Yes.
Charlotte was asking if this report could go out.
Yes. Yeah, I will go ahead, and I was going to email it to Audrey, and then Audrey can email it to the parish, only because I don't have everybody's email.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
It's Millie.
Mhm.
I don't have any questions, but as a counter and the head charge of the counters, I want to just say thank you to Kelly for what she's been able to do, because I know it's been a hard job for her. For one reason was because she was not a counter. So she really had a little extra to learn along the way.
Mhm.
Yes.
Good point, Millie. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions related to the financials? Okay, thank you again, Kelly. It's greatly appreciated. Okay, so we're looking at the agenda, and what's next is the priest's report. So Father, we'll turn it all over to you.
Okay, thank you, Robin. So this is probably, I want to tell you as I begin, this is probably the most challenging report I've ever written for any group that I've worked with. So I'd ask you to hear me with patience. And as I say here several times, this is a beginning of the discussion is the way I see it. So here we are, second year online for a parish meeting. We wish it was different. We're still in the middle of this constantly surprising pandemic. And let me begin by saying I'm sorry that you and I and this whole human world continue to bear that burden. I want to address two broad areas today. The first is our parish in the pandemic. The second will be to see our parish more broadly and deeply. Both of those areas, particularly the second, are truly ongoing conversations. So what about St. Matthew's during the pandemic? From the beginning, it seems to me that two principles have guided us, and we worked hard to put those into place from the beginning. The first is this: we're guided by caution and the latest information to seek to keep our parishioners and those who use our facilities safe and healthy as best we can. Secondly, we're guided by the hope and call to be accessible and of service to one another in this parish community and to the larger community around us. That first principle has been invoked many times over these last 2 years. The latest time is in terms of these present added disciplines that are in place right now, while the Omicron variant is still active and causing disruption. We pray that's going to end soon. The second principle has led us to open up in-person worship again, including, until this present interruption, our Wednesday morning service and study, and as of these past 2 Saturdays, our 5 p.m. Saturday Eucharist. The second principle has led us to invite 12-step and other groups who need a place to be in support of one another to use our hall and other rooms again. In a sort of uncertain dance, the first principle has then intervened again and has asked a break in the community groups being physically present in the building. And again, we hope that's for a short time now. You know, there's a tendency in us as human beings to want or expect that once progress has been made, that ground will be held. I know I'm like that. You know, you want to keep going the right direction. But if you think of it as a battle, as a kind of war, I think a different sense emerges. I was thinking about World War I, not that I was there, and our own Civil War. Ground was won and then lost again repeatedly. And as each victory and defeat occurred and the generals responded, no one knew exactly what even the immediate future might hold for weal or woe. The most dangerous thing would have been to declare victory prematurely, because that would invite defeat instead. Underneath these two principles of first, caution in the face of the public health crisis, and secondly, being steadfast in our faithfulness to our call to serve as the church, underneath them both is a truth that is bedrock for us, and that is we daily, all of us, are offered the great love of God to sustain us. I hope you feel that every day. In return, our role is to place love as the one reality that determines how we act in relationship to one another and to the larger world. Or as our presiding bishop, Michael Curry, has phrased it, since the pandemic opened and before, the one repeating question is this. He says it all the time: what would love do? What would love do in the situation as it continues to change? So those are some thoughts about St. Matthew's during the pandemic. What do I see about St. Matthew's today and in the year ahead? This second area, I'm going to offer you what I can offer and what is my responsibility to offer. That is how I see and understand and experience and hope for St. Matthew's as your parish priest. Each of us has our own perspective on every person and every institution with whom we choose to engage. Those perspectives are our own and deserve respect. And I want to hear ultimately in days to come your perspective on all this. At the end of next month, it'll be 2 years, I can't believe it, since I arrived at the rectory and began serving as rector. All but 2 weeks of those 2 years have been during the heart of the pandemic. I'm aware of how that necessarily colors my experience of the parish. And I work hard to distinguish between this period and what you all have known of the parish in prior times. But as I've said many times over these 2 years, I can only know how it was before, if and when you are able to describe that time and experience to me. So what do I see when I look from my limited perspective? Quite a bit. Most of it is very good. Some of it is disheartening and sets off warning bells in my mind and heart. I'm going to talk honestly about both of these. And I ask you to find in yourself, as you can, openness to hear both the good and the bad. The good. I see a church populated by people who love and treasure their parish, who hold memories precious to them from years past. I see a church diverse in its makeup, including those who are descendants of the men and women who arrived before 1871 with Matthew Whitall, and those who came to this country and to this church from Africa as adults in recent times, as well as their children who are growing up in this new land. I see people, as noted in the report on the budget, willing to support their parish with their dollars year after year. I see a parish that has both a history and an ongoing commitment to reach out to those in need for any reason, whoever they are, and to love and care for them in the name of Christ. I see a people who love to be in one another's company. It's hard for us to be virtual, right? Because you can't eat together. You can't walk around the room from one to the other. You guys love to do that. It's a beautiful thing. It's a sign of community. I see a parish that holds a shared love in Christ as its North Star and its goal. And I think, and I know this is the case, when you look, you can name many more good things about St. Matthew's Parish. What are some of the troubling things? There's an image that appeared on Facebook the other day, which I had to share, but of course it disappeared with everything else. It depicts St. Paul sitting at a desk, and it says, if the Apostle Paul were alive today, and he's got his scroll and he's writing, so you can see there at least him. No, you can't see it. Well, anyway, this is what he's writing in the letter. Paul, an apostle of Christ Jesus, to the churches of the United States of America, grace to you and peace from God the Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. Then there's a colon, and he starts the letter. I don't even really know where to begin with you guys. It's meant to be funny. But I think Paul might write that. If you read Paul's letters, he never backed down from what he wanted to say. So I'm taking a page from St. Paul, even though I'm a much lesser person. So looking from the point of view of the pastor among us, what do I see as troubling? Over a period of these 2 years, I found us as a whole pretty inarticulate, in my experience, when it comes to being able to speak of ourselves as a church. When I talk about telling me what it was like before, I can't get the picture. Now that might be like, this might be very thick, might be made of cement. But one sentence seems to be about the limit when I ask people to describe St. Matthew's. The common denominator in this unresponsiveness seems to be when it involves stretching beyond what we've known before, beyond our comfort zone, to try something new. It's human. We're more comfortable with what we know. We're uncomfortable with what involves change. In the measure to which that's true, if that's where the discomfort is, we need, you and me, in conversation with one another, a deep and ongoing conversation which I don't think really has begun yet. What I did was launch in saying, how about this, how about that, how about that? That was a mistake. So for the moment, I'm going to leave those possibilities that I've been urging aside from my point of view, to table them, if you will. They're things that are meant to help build a new and living future for this 150-year-old place. 151 years we're going on now. And the new vestry will indeed be talking about stuff. There will be stuff happening. But for me as rector, I'm coming to realize that there are things that need to happen first, that I need to get involved first, things that are more basic. That is, well, I want to frame what I'm about to say, coming to the end now, within a truth that I'm going to describe more fully in a few minutes. That truth is a distinction that I found it helpful to use before. Ready? This is where it gets challenging. We are here to be a church, not to be a club. We're a church, we're not a club. For that to be true in 2022, I'm going to ask you to consider, before I describe you what I mean by that, actions that touch on the way in which we live and work and worship here. I'm going to name them here and briefly explain why I'm asking these things of you. Sometimes people think of me always wanting to do the new thing. How's this for old-fashioned? The very first thing I want to ask you is this. I am asking, not just words, I really want you to consider this. I'm asking everyone who considers themselves a member of St. Matthew's to join in weekend worship every weekend. How's that for a throwback? Now that could be at 5 p.m. Saturday or at 10 on Sunday. It could be in person or online. If it's online, it could be while we're webcasting live or at any time afterwards when it's still online. And I realize there are exceptions. If somebody has to work, that often happens to many of you, right? If you have to work on a Sunday, it'll be there online, except for today. We can talk about that afterwards. It'll be there online for when you want to get it at any point. Why am I asking this? Two reasons to start. From the time of ancient Israel, the original Hebrew, the people of God, I know this is where it comes in that I used to teach. The people of God we are an assembly. The word is a kahal. So what's an assembly do? It actually comes together. A community that doesn't actually come together is not a community. For every person who rarely worships here in person or online, St. Matthew's is truly less itself on the community side. And those who do not participate, from my point of view, are starving their own hearts of the nourishment of community and hearing the word of God for themselves on the individual side. By this measurement, okay, now I'm getting out here like St. Paul at this point, by that measurement, including the 2 Sundays that I was with you before the pandemic was declared, I have never yet met nor seen St. Matthew's community at prayer. Never. I have a thirst to see that. And it might take Omicron lifting, and so we're still going to be in line at that point, but we have a ways to go. And please recall again that the number of ways in which you can participate now are more than has ever been the case before. Secondly, I'm asking all who consider themselves part of St. Matthew's community to consider becoming part of a community of prayer and learning that extends throughout the days of the week. You know, we've been doing online prayer for just about 2 years now, since the first weeks of the pandemic, several days a week, morning or noon or evening or night prayer. No one is or could be required, this isn't a seminary, to be of any of these. But if you have capacity for the internet, if you're here today, you do, I just renew the invitation to choose one of those periods of prayer and just make it part of your schedule, once a week maybe, whatever it might be. Deeper than that, and this is new, allied to that, I'm going to be preparing a detailed invitation to anyone who wants to become part of a community within the community, whose members will commit to learning deeply how to pray and how to allow their Christian beliefs to be a center of who they are and of how they choose and act in every life situation. Again, that'll be available both online and in person. I want that to be an ongoing group, and I want it to be a group that is at the very center of the heart of how St. Matthew's in the future will understand itself. Why? This is to get back to what I started with in this section. Because I see in St. Matthew's something not unique to us at all, but rather very common across parishes, and in my estimation, very dangerous in every one of them. We are very close to being a club and not a church. Let me open up a bit now about what I mean in that phrase. There's nothing wrong with a club. A club is a group of like-minded people who come together of their own accord and agreement for some agreed upon purpose. It might be charitable, it might be sociability, it might be for a certain cause or more. That's positive. It's just as positive as it sounds, but that is not a church. The church, and any local church anywhere, is not founded by human willing. Matthew Whitall, the people who came here in 1871, did not found this church, even if they thought they did. It's founded by the will of God. It's an assembly called together by God. We don't choose who's in the church. Every one of us here has been called here by God. And together, what we're trying to do is answer that call and to help each other to do that. The church, this church, is in the world as a sign that God's kingdom is coming. The church is that sign because it works to make disciples of Jesus Christ. Everything the church does, if it's a church, should be linked to that goal. And disciples of Jesus Christ should be obvious in this world. Our love, our compassion, our openness to all and to everyone become more and more visible as we grow closer to Christ. And we grow closer to Christ not so much by learning about him, but rather by actually meeting him heart to heart. So clubs and churches are both good things, but they're not the same thing. And here's me putting out my neck again. If that brief description of a church sounds new or unusual to you or me, it may be that no matter how long we've been here, we've never actually belonged to a church at all. But it's never too late. It can still happen. I'm here because I want to belong to a church. If I want to belong to a club, I'll find one. Actually, they invited me to the Elks. I should do that. It's a great club. But I'm willing to work hard to belong to a church, and I'm going to expect others to work hard with me to build a church. If you don't want to do that, don't stay. How's that? I'm going to expect others to help me build a church if it needs to be built, or heal or strengthen it if that's what the church needs. And we heard earlier today, listening to Kim and Tim, healing is part of what we need. Now, only you can say where all that brings you this afternoon. And I'm going to invite you other times to come back together with me to talk about this. I can only tell you where all that leaves me. And I'm going to say it straight, brothers and sisters. If you desire a priest who will just lead worship on weekends and on Wednesdays, lead a Bible study, go to vestry meetings, and one or two other things thrown in once in a while, and that's it, then I am not your guy. Okay? For the sake of this parish's present and future, there needs to be more, a lot more. I said something similar last year at our annual meeting, and I can't recall a single comment in response to that anytime after. You know why? Because you think it's going to go away. Well, it's not going to go away until I go away. All right, this is what I'm saying. If we continue here together, you and I, then consider these words today an invitation to an ongoing dialogue together. Let me say this in closing. It's okay if your expectations of your parish priest are as straightforward as those I described a moment ago. But if so, we all made a mistake when I came here. And that's nobody's fault. But if that's true, then we're going to have to undo the mistake. If we can get to the something more, which I've described briefly, doesn't feel briefly, if we can, then for God's sake, when the pandemic allows, let's do it. Beginning from now, let us all converse continuously and freely about our vision. I need to hear that from you of St. Matthew's. In that way, we can discover the real St. Matthew's together. Thanks. Robin, back to you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you very much. Profound words.
Thank you.
a lot for us to consider, most definitely, most definitely. All right, so now we're moving on to my report. And I have written down some things I would like to share with you, quite a bit of thank yous. I want to thank Father John. I want to thank Tim. I'll thank him later. I can't thank him now. He's not with us at the moment. Kelly and Helen for being there with us, being there with me all year long. And I thank you to our vestry, Deb, Emmanuel, Bendu, Rebecca, Dennis, Keith, Alyssa, and Paris. They served as youth representation, but all of our vestry members, you know, a lot of times you might think that vestry, you know, is doing nothing. Vestry, you know, just is sitting and meeting and talking for hours and hours. You know, sometimes we might feel that way, but we have accomplished quite a bit, which I'll get to momentarily. I want to thank especially Rebecca Kasangi for being there with us on vestry, being there to support us during these past 2 years, especially with the perspective of an MD. You know, we appreciate your constant information and guidance through this horrible time in the life of the world. Thank you, Rebecca. I thank you to Emmanuel, who is rotating off, but is interested in running again. So each candidate has two 3-year slots available to them. And Emmanuel wants to sign on again. God love you. Another 3 years. Thank you, Emmanuel. I want to thank Alyssa and Paris Gaylor for being our youth representatives this past year. It hasn't been easy, has it? Not at all. These are very, very troubling times with the world. Thank you to those stepping forward to run on the ballot, whatever it looks like a little bit later on today. Thank you to George Gala, who has chosen to take a lead role as warden of St. Matthew's. Thank you to Dennis as well. I want to thank Karen Baldwin for her courage in stepping forward to agree to serve in a 3-year position on the vestry. And I do want to also thank, this year we have asked 2 youth, and those 2 youth have said yes as representatives on the vestry. Thank you to Jaden Ciccone, and thank you to Lucilia Ehring for agreeing to volunteer. We really appreciate everyone who has served and everyone who will be serving. Now, here are some of the highlights. We had an IT staff come together. In the spring, we were able to get equipment, IT equipment, so we could go hybrid. We had monies donated through the grant from the diocese. And in addition to that, we had very generous supporters donating money directly to that specific area. Thank you to Tony. Thank you to Doug for stepping forward and handling the IT. It's very important. I want to thank, he's not here, thank him again, send him an email. Thank you to Tim and the team that coordinated the beautiful 150th installation with Father John as our new rector. Bendu, thank you. Charlotte, George, Karen, you and Tim, you guys and Tim did a beautiful job at coordinating that wonderful celebration that we will remember forever. I want to say, give a shout out to the Four Corners Friendship Kitchen, to Kathy and Paula, who are the coordinators, and to each and every person who helps with that. You guys were determined to feed, and you did, even though we closed down for monthly dinners, feeding once a month. all the people who were involved in that. You were determined to keep it going, and it did. And we appreciate that a great deal. The Sunday school, thank you to Karen and thank you to Kim. They are amazing. Sunday school began again. You know, little lights of life shining through. I want to thank especially Pam and Linda. God almighty, the virtual fair. You had a plan. It was in place. It was going to be in person. And lo and behold, in the fall, it wasn't. And you rallied. We met. We talked about it. We offered it hybrid. We offered it online, thanks to Doug and Father, you know, IT people pulling it together for us. And then later on, you guys, you know, we had little in-person sales of fudge and pies and craftware. So in totality, you know, yes, we did a hybrid. I want to thank also Helen, Deb, Bendu, and I mentioned Doug, for going ahead with that. We proceeded into waters that were unknown. And maybe in the future, we would have an in-person and an online. It's something to consider. I want to thank everybody for supporting the Southworcester Neighborhood Center. You know, even during the pandemic, there were families from St. Matthew's that were arriving weekly on their specific day. Tom over there at Swinnock, he said, I know what day it is and I know who's coming from St. Matthew's to drop food off. So he knows. And then once we returned in person in church, we continued to have the basket, which, you know, is usually brought to the altar and blessed. And we have a team of people who weekly deliver to Southworcester. Tom says, thank you. I have more details on that, but I'll put it in the way for the month of February. We appreciate St. Matthew's totally, all parishioners, your commitment, your time, your talent, your finances. You know, if you look at the numbers, I mean, look at the numbers in the annual report. They are increasing, you know, and yet the units are decreasing and the numbers, the financial numbers are increasing. You support in many, many ways, and it's greatly appreciated. One thing that people may or may not know about is about a year ago, we started to have the monthly articles on health and well-being, mental health issues, health of the body, health of the mind, health of the spirit, and it's in the way. So a rotating staff of Rebecca, Helen, and Deb, they do articles in the way. So if you've read one of their articles, you know, and you appreciate what they're doing, which I'm sure you do, let them know. Rebecca, Deb, and Helen, health and well-being. It's important. Father alluded to it just very briefly. He set out some ideas for us to follow, and I hope you'll embrace that. And also, people on the vestry, you know, have been talking and we've been discussing things, and there is a vision. You know, Father is asking, you know, what are you expecting St. Matthew's to be? And we can become what we choose it to become. There is a vision. In December of 2021 at a vestry meeting, I had gone back to all of the minutes for the past year through the discussions that executive committee and the vestry had. And there are some things that were being looked at, and hopefully those could be looked at further, including, I will mention them here. It probably is premature. We want to focus on the areas that Father has alluded to, but things like education, youth, building and grounds, ministries, worship, social justice, hospitality. These are areas that we felt at that point as a vestry in December of 2021 that we might begin to focus upon. Now, there's a new leadership. I'm no longer on vestry. I'm no longer in any capacity. I am happy to step forward and offer my availability and services to anything, everything and anything that Father and the vestry and the parish want. So keep that in mind, please. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me, for supporting the vestry during these turbulent times. You know, there are difficult areas. We've made it safely so far through COVID and all its mutations. Facing change is scary. It's really scary. But I think we're ready. I think we are, and I hope that we can. And I'll end there. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. We'll go to Rebecca, who has her hand up in a moment, but I just wanted to say at the moment, and she just said it herself, Robin has decided not to run again. So she'll be stepping down as warden, stepping down from the vestry group executive committee. I can't say enough about how wonderfully faithful, diligent, committed, creative, there all the time this woman has been through this year. Just spectacular. We've been blessed in that. So Robin, thank you so much for everything that you've done all through this year. And we praise God that you're still here and willing to be, as Festus does since he's gone out of office, willing to continue to make a contribution to the church. Thank you. Rebecca, if you want to unmute.
I'm not going to take too much time, but I wanted to echo what you just said. Yes, I served on the vestry for just 1 year, and what a learning experience. And 1 year is all the dedication that I could give. I wish everyone would give just a little bit to learn what the dedicated members of this church do give 2 years, 3 years, or again and again for the love of our church. Now, I don't know how they do it again and again. And for that, I appreciate that. And I pray for you all the time because I know it takes love, dedication, a passion for this church to actually do what you do. And until you're in there, you have no idea of the work that needs to run this church, the personas that have to get together to make a single decision that will be then shared with the church to uplift the members, to tell them what direction. It's an incredible, dedicated group of individuals. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thanks for your contribution. All right, Robin, where do we go next?
Okay. It looks like we're at the election portion.
Let me say a moment to introduce that then. In a moment, you're going to see on your screen a poll which will ask you to vote for different offices. Some of them will say choose one, some will say multiple choice. It's pretty straightforward. What isn't there, we'll talk about it afterwards, are the delegates for convention. We'll do that separately. Those of you who are here online should be able to vote. If there are 2 people but only 1 device, we've set up a way to do that, thanks to the generosity of Rob Romansky and Lynn Ryan. Robin, I think you have the information to share about how that's going to work. If people who need to call in to vote, and we'll allow time for that to take place.
Yes, thank you, Father. I do. If you choose to call in on 2 separate phones, if you're A through L, last name in the alphabet, you'll be contacting Rob, and his cell phone number to call him is 508-479-9291. I'll repeat, that's Rob Amansky, 508-479-9291. Ellie, thank you for putting that up
Thank you,
on the
Ellie.
screen. And if you are M through Z, you will be calling Lynn Ryan, and her cell phone number is 508-981-7002. That was 508-981-7002.
Great. Now, as I said earlier, if you're on screen here and you're on your own, or if there are two of you, one can vote online and the other one can make the call. Okay, so here comes the, oh, sorry, Rob, did you just put something up there? Let me
His
just-
phone is ready. He's ready. His phone is
Okay,
right next to him.
Great. All right. So I'm going to launch the poll right now. And it's pretty self-explanatory. On each one, it says other. That means, as there always is, there's a possibility for nominations from the floor, which have to be done orally. So what we're going to do is I'm going to launch the ballot. We're going to look at it. I'd ask you not to vote right away. We're going to look at it and see if there are any nominations from the floor. That understood? Okay, so don't
Yes.
vote yet. So can you see it yet? No.
No.
Okay, here it is. So election of wardens, vote for two. The two running are George Gaylor and Dennis Wilson. Election or other, if we have other nominations. Election of treasurer, it's a single choice. Kelly McGregor is running for re-election, or the other would be a nomination from the floor. Election of the clerk of the vestry, Helen Toronto is running for re-election, or the other would be a nomination from the floor. Vestry 3-year terms, there, oh, somebody voted, don't vote yet. Vestry 3-year terms, there are two people running, multiple choice, you pick two, Karen Baldwin or Emmanuel, and Emmanuel. Other would be a nomination from the floor. Let me pause there. Actually, I'm going to end the poll. So whoever voted, are you hearing me now? Whoever voted is going to need to vote again when we activate it, okay? So
Because we
let's-
need to add, yeah, to possibly add other people.
We have to be fair to that possibility. So let's, well, actually, they're not going to have to vote again, I guess, because let me see. Relaunch poll, there we go. Okay, so Robin, do you want me to do this? For wardens, the two nominees are George Gaylor and Dennis Wilson. Are there any nominations from the floor? If you're muted, you'd need to mute and then to speak. Okay.
Looks like that's closed.
Treasurer, Kelly is running for re-election. Are there any nominations from the floor? Okay, hearing none. Clerk, Helen is running for re-election. Helen Toronto, are there any nominations from the floor? Okay, vestry 3. Sorry,
Are we
please.
supposed to be voting now?
No, not yet,
no.
not yet. Please,
Just
not
wait.
yet.
Yeah, just wait. Vestry 3-year terms, there are two openings. The nominees are Karen Baldwin and Emmanuel. Are there any nominations from the floor? Okay. With that, you can vote online. If you're voting online, those of you who are going to call can begin calling. If you get a busy signal, obviously, if they can't answer you because they're with someone else, just call back. Thank you. We'll leave a couple of minutes for the poll.
Charlotte, you have your hand raised. Are you asking a question?
I was gonna make a comment. I can wait until after.
Okay. Thank you, Charlotte. I should say those that call in, Rob and Lynn will eventually have information on those votes, and we'll add those to the ones we have.
Oh, hear Mercy, huh?
No, that's somebody else. She's asleep here.
I'm confused. The vestry 3-year term, is that just for one or
No,
both?
both. It says
Both.
Yeah, it's both. There are
Yeah.
2 3-year terms open.
Yes.
Okay.
On my screen, I'm not seeing, all I'm seeing is the wardens, treasurer, and clerk.
You have to scroll, go to the right side. There's a dark line that appears,
Okay. Yeah.
and you can scroll down.
And if I could, I have one other question.
Sure.
There may be, and I understand that, Tim has agreed not to run, but there may be some people who want to support him just for that reason. How would they do that? Or is that not an option? In other words, if you press other.
No, you can't. No, it doesn't work
No.
that way, Dennis. What's there are the candidates that are in place, and Tim had withdrawn, so he's not standing in candidacy, which is why it's not there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I see Rob is on the phone. I'm just realizing as I look here, given the way it turned out, although we're going to get the numbers, there's not a lot. Diocesan delegates, Rob, we're going to do afterwards. We're going to take nominations afterwards in another step. But if because they're not nominated yet. But there's not a lot of doubt about these. So there are 5 people online who haven't yet voted, who are free to vote online if they would like to.
They can either touch the screen or
And now
they can call.
Now there are 4. Yeah, these ones listed there should be able to vote. That means, Robin, that now there's 3. 3 of the windows haven't voted at all. But that's diminishing now. There's 33 or 36 have voted, 91% participation.
I think I'm still not on mute, and I am, this is Dennis. I'm not, it's not scrolling for me, so I'm still only looking at the first 3 options.
You're certainly welcome to call.
Can you see when I scroll?
Call in if you can't.
Dennis, could you see when I scroll?
No.
You can't. Can you see what I'm doing at all? Moving it here? Does that appear to you?
No, you're not sharing your screen. We
You're
see
not
you.
sharing your screen.
Okay, so I hit, okay, all right, hit share screen.
Well, the ballot's there, isn't it? The ballot is
The
shared.
ballot was there, yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
there now.
It's not there now. Dennis, can you call Rob or Lynn? Do you want a phone number?
I do have the number. I'll call.
Okay, why don't
I'll
you?
Yeah, call
You should-
Lynn.
You should
Call
put
Lynn.
yourself on mute. You should put yourself
Yes,
on mute. before you
yes.
Sorry about that.
vote. Okay, I'm going to end the poll online, okay? Although, wait a minute now, somebody just came in. There's 37 now. No, they went again. Okay. So I'm ending the poll. I'll share results for the online portion. but not until the phone calls are complete.
Mhm.
It's possible to share the results immediately then.
Father, while we're waiting for all of that, is it okay if we went ahead and proceeded with the diocesan delegates? Or
Sure.
should we wait?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
why not? Yeah, it's
Okay.
part of the election.
Okay. So is anyone interested in becoming a diocesan delegate
To convention.
to convention?
Yeah.
We need two, and we need an alternate also. So altogether three.
Yeah, 2 nominees for delegate, 1 nominee for delegate, for alternate. So you can just, oh, Charlotte has her hand up. Is that for this, Charlotte? No. Okay.
No, I have a
Okay.
couple of comments later.
All right. Doug Borowski has his hand raised. Doug?
Yep.
2 hands.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
volunteer for that.
To be a delegate. Okay. Doug is, so he's offered himself to be nominated. Is there a second for that? Kathy seconds, okay.
Does one of those have to be a vestry member?
Usually one of them is, Millie, that's true. Yeah, that's right. So the other one should be a vestry member, which
Kelly
we may
has
have-
her. Yeah,
we
Kelly.
we may have to pause on because the vestry hasn't been elected yet. You know what I mean? We don't have the whole vestry in place, so we
I know.
can't. yeah.
That's true. That's Kelly did have her hand up though
We
too.
could-
Yes, yes.
We could,
Yeah.
we could do the alternate though. We could take a nominee for the alternate delegate.
Anybody offering their name for an alternate?
Oh, this is George Giller.
Hello, George.
Hi, George.
So I would like to, if I can obtain a second, or nominate or Robin or Shanarak as alternate.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have several seconds. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
You accept that nomination, Robin?
Of course.
Great, okay, good. Good.
Thank you.
Our phone people are working hard. This reminds me of a telethon. Let's have a telethon.
Father John, this is Kelly. Hold on.
Kelly, you get 2
I
things
just have a question. I was just wondering if you had taken roll call, like Steve was here today
Wait,
as well.
Kelly,
So I
please,
don't know if
Kelly,
that counted
Kelly,
as the
Kelly,
attendance for the annual meeting. It's
Kelly,
on what
Kelly,
device.
Kelly, can you hang on for a minute? Dennis? Dennis has shared his screen by accident. He's taken over the. Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis? Okay, Kelly, is that seconds down from you? Somebody has 2 devices on.
Might be Kelly needs to mute.
I think it is. Kelly, we can't hear you.
All right, I'm here. I'm over here. Okay. My question is that if you had taken any roll call, because Steve was also attending and it's hard to see how many people are on with the devices with people. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody got counted properly.
We have on the online poll, 33 of 36 have participated. I don't know yet. I don't know why this is happening with sound, actually. Ellie, is that?
Yeah, Kelly, you gotta stay. Don't go in the room with somebody else.
Kelly, I'm gonna have to mute.
Where am I?
There you go.
Okay, sometimes you just got to do these things. I'm sorry.
Okay, just mute her. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's there's several folk there. How are we doing? They're still on the phone, I believe, right? Yeah. Robin, was results from the phone, was that to be emailed, or how is that going to be shared with us, with you or me?
I don't know. I think that they were going to contact you, Father.
What was the question?
Father
Right.
John, I'm back on this thing. I apologize for that. So I just wanted to, my question was, I know normally during the annual meeting, we usually have a register always sign in or somebody signs their name. So they have the total amount of parishioners there, and that's usually done in the beginning of the meeting. I just wanted to say that, I'm on, my mom and my dad are on, and Steve are on, and sometimes there's more than one or two people that are present on at the time during the meeting. So I just wanted to make sure that that got recorded properly.
Recorded properly in terms of total people present. Is that what you mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
Normally you have to have a quorum of the amount of parishioners that are present.
Right. Yeah, the only way we're going to be able to do that is to, I don't know how we're going to be able to do it. We'd have to almost have people count off, because there are 36 windows open, but your window, for example, has 4 people.
Right.
Correct.
So if you have any idea how to make that happen, I'm
Okay.
quite open to it.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if there was a way. Okay.
No, I'm not saying there isn't. I really am sincere. I don't know
Yeah.
how we can do it. Like I could call. Somebody has.
Stacy, get him mute.
No, my question, suggestion.
Please speak.
You could call each person's name that's on the thing, on the bottom of the screen, and just ask how many people are sitting there with them.
That's what I was thinking of. We'll do it after the vote is complete, if that's okay. Thank you. So again, Robin, you were saying it sounds like, am I going to get an email from Lynn and Rob then? I don't know how they're going to contact me otherwise.
Well, I guess, or they could, or they could call you, right? They could call you, or they could email you. Either way. And I'm throwing this out there while we're waiting, while they're taking the phone calls, can't we just, isn't it okay just to do the roll call now? In such and such a household, one person, in such and such a household.
If you want to do it,
I will. Yeah. Okay.
I cannot see, he's off the phone, Rob's off the phone. I cannot see the whole screen because of the ballot.
Okay, so let's see. All right. Ellie, number, okay.
One.
All right. Ben and Linda, 2. All right, Dennis, 1. My pen's drying out. Okay. All right. I'm using my phone, so I'm just like flipping over as it goes. Keith, 1. Pam, there's 4 people at Pam's household. 4.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Kathy, 1. All right. Thank you. Next. Sharon and DePing, 2. All right. Lynn, 1.
Billy,
Pete and Stace, 2.
Millie,
Hang on, I don't do shorthand. Sorry. Okay. Millie and Lois.
2.
Yep, thank you so much. All right, next screen for me, Rebecca, 1, Rick and Charlotte, 2, Emmanuel, Emmanuel, how many do you want me to list in your household?
We do.
2. Thank you.
She's here.
Okay, George? Unmute,
Muted, Josh.
George, unmute, please.
One person at this computer.
1, okay. Karen? 1. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Shirley? And Audrey?
2.
Yeah, thank you.
Haven't heard
And Joe and Judy?
Augustus.
Joe and Judy, 2.
Oh, that didn't go in my alphabetical.
Okay, and let's see. I already have Sharon and Deping. Paula?
2.
2.
Mhm.
Okay, Festus?
1.
Okay, thank you. Doreen?
1.
1.
Never
Thank
quite.
you, thank you. All right, I already have Audrey and Shirley. Rob, 1. Wendy? 1. Thank you. I already have the Wilson household. Okay. Ellie and Bob? 2. Okay, Gus. All right, thank you. Gus and Company. 2.
God's in my
2.
city too.
Yes,
Okay.
2. Thank
All
you.
right.
Charlotte?
Mhm.
Thank you. Charlotte?
I think you already said Rick and I.
Did I? Did I? Do I have you
Yes.
already?
Yep.
Okay. 2. All right. Doug, 1.
1.
Okay. And Bendu? Well, we know it's 1 for now anyways.
Bendu, 1.
Okay, thank you. Patty? 1. Tony? Tony Chaconi?
1.
Thank you. All right, we have one that just says iPhone. One on my screen just says iPhone. So who is iPhone? And then Alyssa. Okay, Alyssa Gaylor.
Actually, 2. I just forgot to put Paris's name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Paris. Thank you. Is that everybody? Anybody else that didn't speak to tell me how many?
Could, was Joanne with Paula or was she separate? I think she was separate.
Yeah, she's separate, but I'm not sure. I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
she's a member,
Okay.
a voting member of St. Matthews.
Right.
I could
No.
be incorrect, but okay. All right, thank you. 1, 2.
And what about,
Did you get Doreen?
Yes, I did. Anybody else that you think of that I missed?
what about Tim and Kim?
They weren't there.
Yeah, they didn't
They
vote.
didn't,
were
they
there.
didn't vote. Yeah, they
Okay,
didn't
okay,
vote,
okay.
unfortunately. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, according to my number, I have 47.
Did you count the rector?
48. 48 is what I have.
You counted yourself too, Robin, right?
Yes, thank you. Okay. All right, we're about to get our results, right? Thank you for being patient. Thank you for staying online with us. Does anyone want to sing a song or recite a poem or do a little dance? So Doreen is south. Doreen is in Florida, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. What's the weather like down there?
Look behind me.
Gorgeous.
No.
No?
Well, it's very, very windy today and cool. It's cool at 60.
It's cool at 60. Oh my goodness.
I have
Yes.
a jacket. Yeah, I have to wear a jacket today.
How about you, Paula? Are you down there too?
We are. It's we had from about 9 o'clock this morning until about 1 o'clock tornado warnings. And
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
very, like Doreen said, very, very windy. And yeah, it was a little bit scary. We were taking some pictures out our window, and I'm sure that they were the tornado clouds that we heard touch down a little bit further north. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a strange day, but it's better now.
That's
What
good.
about Townsend's? What's it like over where you are?
Windy.
Windy. Right now it's clear, it's gray. We had heavy rain around 11 o'clock, whatever Paula saw first. Heavy rain, heavy thunder, heavy wind. So we're inside the coach. We're not sitting under the tiki hut today.
Okay, we have the phone tallies. So I don't know quite how we'll fit this together, because what you'll see, I'll share the online ballot poll. That gives percentages. It'll tell you how many people out of the 33 voted for the individual, and therefore what the percentage is. Then I'll share with you the numbers that have just come in, with great thanks from Lynn and Rob. Okay, is that all right to proceed, Robin?
Yes.
Okay, so here are the results. So can you see that now? George Gaylor, 33 out of 33, 100%. Dennis Wilson, 23 out of 33, 70%. Kelly McGregor, 100%. Helen Toronto, 100%. Karen Baldwin, 94%, 31 out of 33, and Emmanuel, 30 out of 33, 91%. Then so I'm just going to minimize that. Then on the phone, this is combining the two people who took calls. George received 9 votes by phone. Dennis received 6. Kelly, Helen, Emmanuel, and Karen each received 7 votes by phone. So one thing we know is they're safely elected. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone.
Congratulations.
For your willingness to serve.
Yes.
And we'll compile that and share that information again with everyone in time to come. So now, where do we stand on, we have nominees, I guess, do we need a vote? Or we needed a vestry person to be nominated to serve as a delegate, as Millie pointed out.
Yes.
So that'd be our second delegate. So now we have a vestry in place. Robin, you're much better at lists than I am. Who's the vestry now?
Well, anybody on the vestry, the new vestry is welcome to put their name in. Kelly had put her name in previously. Is there anybody else, or anybody else could put their name in if they're on the new vestry?
So who do we have as delegate, as nominees?
We have Doug as a non-vestry.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly had said previously that she would be interested as a delegate,
Mm-hmm.
as a vestry member, and then myself as an alternate.
Okay, so the question is, are there any more nominations? Otherwise, that slate, I think we could just we could have, as is done sometimes, we could have the clerk, Ellie, to cast 1 vote for that slate, and that would be accomplished. But let's pause for a moment and see if there are any other nominations.
Mhm.
And then we finally got to go to Charlotte, who's poor hand has been up by her head for a long time.
Yes.
Any other? Okay.
Any other nominations?
All right, Ellie, what do you think? Is it a go?
I can do that. I can put in one vote for each of Doug, Kelly, and Robin as the alternate.
Okay, great. Thank you. Congratulations to our delegates and alternate for convention in the coming year. Charlotte, over to you.
Thanks. I have a comment about the stewardship annual report. I've been on stewardship for a long time. I don't really know how long. I think Millie was on the very first stewardship committee ever. But I did join a few years ago, and I've been doing the annual report for a while. And this is the very first time ever, and it's only one person, but this is the first time ever that we've had more people increase their pledge than remain the same.
Wow.
And it's only by one person, and I don't know who the one person is, and it doesn't even matter. But my point is, one person can make a difference. That's my point.
That's great,
On
Charlotte.
that.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Good
Thank
point.
you, Charlotte.
Also regarding the music annual report that Don Irving wrote, he forgot to mention that he was very involved in the 150th anniversary celebration regarding the music. He procured 3 visiting guest musicians. He got us a guest vocalist. The music was wonderful, stunning, outstanding. And I think that he should be remembered for that and commended for that.
Thank you. That's
And
great.
lastly, on the very last page where it lists the audit committee for last year, 2021, Kelly McGregor's name is listed as being a member of the audit committee, and she was not because she was the treasurer.
That's
So,
at the end of this entire document?
yes,
Yeah, the
yes. So her
page-
name should be removed.
Okay.
Page 28. 28.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thanks. That's it. I'll shut up now.
Right there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that Kelly's name shouldn't be there. Well, it says 2021 though. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Charlotte is correct. Okay. Thank you, Charlotte. All right.
Yes, we're at the end.
We are at
Thank
the
you
end.
to more or
Thank you
less,
so
right?
much.
Yeah.
Almost everybody hung in there to the end, which is
Yes.
kind of amazing, including people who are dealing with COVID. Ben and Linda, you are heroic. My God.
May I jump in for 1 second?
Don't jump in. Just stay in your chair and speak.
Okay, so regarding the thank yous for Don Irving, I just wanted to mention, and I so enjoyed listening it play today, is the beautiful piano that he also managed to secure for us. So I'd like that noted as well. And I know everyone appreciates it so much. So
That's great.
thank you.
We will tell Don, you've done more than you think you did. Write this down. Okay. Good. Do we have a closing prayer or anything, Robin? Any?
Father John, this is George.
Yes, George.
So I'm not sure the protocol for the meeting. So but before you close, may I just say 1 or 2 words just after these votes?
You may certainly, yes.
So the first thing I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And it's great seeing a whole lot of faces on the meeting. And I just want to say I'm so thankful. I'm very, very thankful to the entire parishioners and all members on this meeting for their votes. So I would say on behalf of Dennis and I just want to say a special thank you to the outgoing leadership, Robin and team. I just want to say thank you so much for the hard work. Thank you so much for the dedication. Again, I just want to encourage members that this term, and we will make sure that communication is huge. I will make sure to be in touch with members and we'll make sure that communications will be oral communications, written communications. We want to encourage participation, more participations. We know parishioners have a lot of skills, a lot of strength, and a lot of gift. And some people have skills in finance, other people in music, stewardship, and any form of skills you have. We'll make sure we can tap into those skills. We have achieved 150 years, and the founding members of this church worked so hard. 150 years, we have achieved it, and I'm sure we have more years to go, and it requires hard work and more participation. We need to support the director. He can't do it alone, so we need all members. Your participation either in worship or either online will make sure that we can contact you to encourage you to stand by the church. Even the youth members or the other students that are in colleges will continue to encourage them to participate. If you're a retiree, you have special skills, you are still needed. So again, I just want to say thank you for your vote. And this is huge. And with God's help, with your support, I'm sure we can move St. Matthew from one stage to the next stage. So again, I just want to say thank you for your vote. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working with each and every one of you in different ways.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
much. That's a
Thank
great,
you.
great opening statement. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Everybody who's serving on the new vestry who need to be commissioned, and I don't have any words for commission, so I'm gonna give a blessing. This is, and then we'll work on a commissioning. So let us bow our heads, thanking God for God's presence here with us, and pray for those who are beginning service now and continuing service as elected today. Gracious God, you give us all good gifts, the gifts of individuals, the gifts of community. We thank you for those who stepped forward or stepped forward again to serve as leaders of this parish community. We ask you to bless each and every day of their service in this year to come. We ask you to be with us in all our deliberations. We ask you to assure that every member of St. Matthew's knows that the ears and the hearts of leadership are open to all that they need and want to share at any and all times. We ask your blessing as well, Lord, on those who have served until today. We ask your blessing on outgoing vestry members, on outgoing wardens in their goodness. We ask you especially, Lord, to be present with us, to give healing of heart and soul where healing is needed, to bring reconciliation to us as a community where reconciliation is needed. We entrust ourselves entirely to you, asking you to do what you want to do, to be present with us, to be in us, to work through us through the year ahead. May the blessing of God Almighty be upon our new wardens and vestry and upon us all, Father and Son and Holy Spirit. Amen.
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 Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much, and be safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
This,
Thank you, Robin.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
Take care.
Thank you, Ali, for taking off the meetings
Yes,
today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Robin.
Ellie.
Thanks,
Ellie,
Thank
are
you.
you in Maine?
No, I'm back from Maine in Worcester.
Oh.
today. Happy to help. Thank you, Robin. for all
Okay,
you did.
thanks.
Welcome back.
Yeah. All
Can I
right.
ask what happened to the service this morning?
Yes, the service was, there was a human error made. The service is recorded, but was not online. We're going to try to upload it, which is going to be a bit of work, but we're going to try to do that. So that's what happened. One button that needed to be pushed wasn't pushed.
Well, we miss you. We miss you, Millie. We miss you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone. God bless you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you so much
Take
for
care.
Bye.
every day.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Sowieso.
Yeah.